Projected revenues at best are a drop in the bucket. The parks maintenance backlog is roughly $500 million, so it is a drop in the bucket. Second, we haven't had a real debate about opening our parks and preserves and potentially Lake Erie to oil and gas drilling. Let's have a real debate. Let's not bury this in this enormous budget process. The public hasn't had really a chance to weigh in on this. And finally, we have problems on private lands right now. And DNR and other interested parties are looking at legislation to fix some of those problems when it comes to drilling. So let's fix the problems first before we get into new territory.
Well stated, and that's a debate that will have a full, robust debate. The industry has been negotiating with DNR for months, since November, on a fix-it bill. These problems on drilling on private lands, punctuated by the Bainbridge, Ohio incident. That bill is going to get full hearings and standalone bill in both houses. If we're to entertain this notion of drilling on public lands, that too should get, as Randy suggested, a full debate in both houses, not stuffed in a budget bill.
Hey Jeff, you would quote 10, 20, or 30% budget cut scenario?
Neither. Thanks for the question, Laura. This is Ohio EPA, which again is not GRF dependent under the current budget that ends in a few days, nor under the governor's as introduced, or the House passed Senate version, or even the governor's Friday announcement. The 10, 20, 30% scenarios are all from the Department of Natural Resources, which are included in here separately, and project, at least I hope they're in here, and project what will happen to DNR programs should there be a cut of 10, 20, 30%. And as our press release, we've done the math, and you'll see some divisions at DNR are getting some up to 100%, others I think 12% maybe is the lowest, or 11% here. So that, what Ohio EPA is projecting is if the landfill fee, the one on mixed solid waste, is not approved. Again, those are EPA's words, not our words. We are not, I've never known Ohio EPA to be Chicken Little. Sky is falling, and these are some pretty stark projections by the Ohio EPA, and I really hope our General Assembly takes time to hear those. It doesn't vote to put drinking water, clean air and water, and public health at risk.
And Laura, we should clarify the waste disposal fees. I mean, there are two categories. There's a municipal one, and there's demolition and construction debris. And the $1, as Jack says, goes to Ohio EPA, but the total increase for municipal waste fees is $1.25. The additional quarter goes to support things like the Division of Soil and Water Conservation at ODNR. So it's a bit of a larger increase. It's a replacement fee. It'll take the dollar amount up, but again, it's still much lower than any of the surrounding states. Likewise, there's an increase in the debris and demolition. It's in one of the, you'll see it in one of the, I think, one of the EPA. I might defer to you on this.
Well, it's been a long time since we've had lake monitoring in Ohio by the state, and just recently restarted, led to the discovery of a drinking water problem in Grand Lake St. Mary. And without that, we'll be back another 10 years or more without knowing these things, what the conditions are. So they sometimes say what you don't know can't hurt you, but that's not the case. So our lakes from that are maintained by ODNR and Corps of Engineers, etc., would not have as much information. This information is actually helpful to us.
Elaine Marsh, you had started to say something a moment ago. I can't believe you were suppressed. Go ahead, ma'am.
Well, when we were talking about the value of our parks and what we needed to do to protect them and why we should be cautious in terms of permitting drilling when we don't know the whole fact, is that the more we learn about populations and where particularly young people want to live, what we have found out, and any number of surveys have borne this out. There was a recent one that was done by the Brookings Institution, which stated that we were losing our educated people for a number of reasons. The main one was a concern over their career options, but the second was that they about time that we recognize that people make decisions on where they want to live, and they're very mobile, and we have to provide the quality of life that is perceived as a place that young people want to live and stay. So these are not, fun and games. Parks and recreation are not fun and games issues. They are vital quality of life issues, and we have to treat them as such and can't just willy-nilly give our precious resources to some idea that has not been tested. And the other point I wanted to make on the discussion that is currently going on the importance of Ohio EPA is that the protection of water quality is an emerging science. We don't have all the answers. In the last 10 years, we have come up with more science on the protection and functioning of our waterways than we have in all the time previous. And it is emerging, and water is one of our most important resources, and it has to be protected. We have to be current on the condition of the science, the emergent condition of the science, and it has to be protected.